Hello and welcome to this video where we'll learn about the school context of Francisco González Bocanegra to present the results of our research which we obtained by doing observations and interviewing to know in detail this high school. San Luis Potosí is a state surrounded by unparalleled natural environment. It is rich in biodiversity and ecological reserves that will steal your breath away, home of the birth of the poet. Short story written and playwright by Manuel José Ozón, author of the work Idilio Salvaje, as well as the writer of our great Mexican Francisco González Bocanegra. The Francisco González Bocanegra High School is in this state, beginning in 1976 with the founder of the school, Juan Martínez Santiago, who was also the first director, also marked in the history.
Francisco González Bocanegra High School, located in Colonial Real Atlas, has the general description of being a school of academic excellence, where it seeks that its students and teachers are too committed to education. The high school aims to provide a quality education, so the principal and assistant principal have ensured that the school in the best conditions for students to have a better development during their stay. What the team could observe at first sight of the school is that the school entrance in general was very clean. The school has a library, laboratory, support room, and room for interns. Something good that we could observe is that near of the school there was a store and a stationery store, which is very beneficial for the students. The houses and neighbors surrounding the school do not cause any problems for the students to enter the school. The school is very spacious and capable of accommodating a large number of students and currently has 640 students. Combining the two shifts, the classroom have a capacity for 30 to 40 students, and the classroom for workshops are well equipped. Perhaps they lack little material, so that the students have to share the material. Something that the team noticed is that many classrooms lack projectors, and this is a little complicated for the teachers to prepare their classes. A very favorable aspect for the students is that there are about 2 and 3 bus stations near the school, which makes it easier for the students to get to and from the school. As for the safety of the school, it does not seem to be safe. Parents felt that this should change as the neighborhood where the school is located is very dangerous for the student community, parents, and teachers. That's why the school chose to adopt 2 watchdogs to protect the school from nighttime looting. However, this does not seem to be enough to ensure the safety.
The secondary school is part of the growth of the young people, so it's shown that the place where they obtain new knowledge, apart from having a good academic level, is a place where their children can develop friendly and safely. And after having interviewed with different parents, they comment that the school facilities are adequate for the students' learning. Most of those interviewed take their children walking and also by car or truck. A positive point for the daily life is the location, since their travel time from home to school is approximately 5 to 10 minutes. School security is mostly considered to be between fair and good. Parents believe that security around the school can be improved by increasing surveillance. This requires patrols around the school to reduce risks such as assaults or endorsements to addictive substances that students may suffer in the vicinity of the school. A good place creates a good coexistence, so parents are concerned that their children do not suffer any violence, whether verbal or psychological, and that they do not have any influence with the consumption of addictive substances. In spite of creating a good school environment, the home also has an influence on the adolescents. The principal comments that part of the weakness of the school is the context in which the students are surrounded.
Debilidades que tiene la escuela y cómo trabajan en ellas para disminuirlas o solucionarlas.
Una de las debilidades es el contexto. El contexto, tenemos familias con muy escasos recursos, ¿verdad? De mucha extrema pobreza, sin trabajo, sin preparación. Lamentablemente hay delincuencia, lamentablemente hay adicciones, hay problemas de desintegración familiar, y esto ocasiona pues una situación de indisciplina y de faltas e incumplimientos de algunos alumnos, ¿verdad?
Claro.
Y esto pues ellos tienen el derecho, pero pues no se les puede cerrar la puerta, tenemos que atenderlos y tenemos que buscar la manera de apoyarlos. Y otra de las situaciones es que pues hay alumnos que tienen dificultades, pero no aceptan estar con la atención de USAER. Y USAER no atiende a alumnos discapacitados, atiende a alumnos con problemas de aprendizaje. Entonces tenemos que reconocernos y que aceptarnos como somos y como estamos para que nos ayuden a salir adelante, y eso es lo que estamos buscando.
Muy bien.
But not all students have the same family context, since they have the support of their parents in school activities, in addition to having all the service and furniture in their homes to be able to develop extracurricular activities. To continue with their studies, some have scholarships provided by the government and agree with the policy implemented by the scholarship program. But not everyone is fortunate enough to have one, so parents work to have a stable economic situation. The COVID-19 pandemic has brought with it change in the economic stability of households, as evidenced by unemployment, and parents have not other source of alternative income, which has thrown their economic situation out of balance.
The vision of the Francisco Gonzáles Bocanegra School is to strengthen students with knowledge of values and scientific principles that fulfill the mission of forming students aware of their condition as human beings in the practice of values such as respect, solidarity, tolerance, responsibility, compliance, loyalty, and honesty. The school has created a friendly atmosphere among teachers who have made the school a second home for them, as mentioned by Josefina, the teacher in charge of Spanish in the 3rd grade.
Clases en la escuela Francisco Gonzáles Bocanegra.
Pues me encanta esta escuela porque prácticamente con los años de servicio que tengo aquí me ha ayudado mucho a entablar relación con mis compañeros. Yo aquí en mi escuela la veo como mi segunda familia y cuido mucho esa parte. Entonces yo aquí no me tomo las cosas personales, suceda lo que suceda, yo sé escuchar a mis compañeros, siempre estoy dándole alientos positivos, de echarle ganas, de fortalecernos, y tengo la oportunidad y la fortuna de tener un director que es bien lindo, pues linda persona. Entonces eso a mí me ayuda muchísimo a desempeñarme como maestra. Yo no me tengo que desgastar en otras situaciones que no son necesarias. Si yo salgo cansada es porque atiendo realmente a mis alumnos.
Claro.
It's a great strength for the school to have a teaching staff where the teacher is a role model for the students.
Dentro del Consejo Técnico Escolar, nosotros siempre estamos insistiendo en que el maestro tiene que motivar en la clase, el maestro tiene que ser modelo para los alumnos, el maestro tiene que cumplir con todo lo que maneja la situación de ética profesional para que el alumno pues vea al maestro como un ejemplo.
It also has the great participation of the parents, who make a great effort to support the school and provide their children with the materials they need for their education.
¿Qué es el proceso para obtener este apoyo?
El proceso es todo el 100% a través de los padres de familia hasta ahorita. Los padres de familia hacen una cooperación anual ¿verdad? Y esa cooperación anual ellos la manejan, ellos la manejan el 100%, nada más le pedimos a los maestros de ciencias sus necesidades para el laboratorio, a los maestros de español, de matemáticas, a los maestros de artes, a los maestros de cada quien, a todos los maestros sin excepción, les pedimos que nos digan sus necesidades para que con los padres de familia se atienda lo que es para el servicio de sus hijos, para la atención del proceso educativo de sus hijos y para la atención y el servicio de sus hijos en el aspecto de las instalaciones, ¿verdad? De los salones, bancas, sanitarios y todo. Todo está resuelto por padres de familia hasta ahorita. Todo el tiempo que llevo aquí en la escuela, lamentablemente no hay apoyo, ¿verdad? Hemos hecho infinidad de solicitudes, pero hasta ahorita, ojalá que en este nuevo tiempo y gobierno logremos que nos sigan apoyando para que mejore la escuela, porque al final de cuentas, pues, yo creo que no se puede conformar uno que ya está bien. Tiene que puede estar mejor y mejor y mejor y mejor cada día la escuela. Ustedes la ven y pueden tomar evidencias de cómo está la escuela, ¿verdad?
Currently, the COVID-19 pandemic has brought about great change and new challenges that teachers have had to deal with. It's the reduction in class time and the study habits of the students who had working from home. In order to cope with this change, class planning and time organization has been changed, and this is how the Spanish teacher manage it.
¿Cómo es su proceso de planeación?
Pues precisamente es eso, ¿verdad? Primero identificar, pues el libro a mí me guía, es mi guía el libro. Entonces yo checo el proyecto, checo las actividades que vienen como ejemplo antes de llegar a trabajo final. Si veo que está muy amplia esas actividades y de igual manera yo las voy seleccionando, y más ahorita que te digo en esta forma de trabajo que estamos trabajando con la parte de grupo una semana y la parte de grupo otra semana. Entonces sí está un poquito ahorita difícil para mí como maestra, está muy difícil, pero de alguna manera las estrategias que he utilizado me han funcionado afortunadamente. Y obviamente no estamos cumpliendo con todos los proyectos, esa es una realidad. De hecho, también nos lo mencionaron, que no era necesario cubrir todos los temas, pero sí hacer lo más que uno pueda, o sea, tratar de ver todos los temas, aunque sea con menos actividades, las mejores.
Sí, lo que es conveniente, claro.
Ajá.
Y pues claro, ¿cómo administra su tiempo para la clase?
Mira, pues desde inicio, yo en otras ocasiones prácticamente no estaba yo directamente con los materiales de los alumnos, ahorita lo hago en forma express. Ellos tienen su libreta ahí a la mano y yo rápido paso, pero es como una forma nada más de presionar al alumno que debe de hacer esas actividades tan seleccionadas que se las pongo, que las hagan realmente. No me puedo confiar a que ellos me digan, porque yo paso lista y solamente me dice sí, no, sí, no, sí, no. Pero antes no pasaba a registrarlas, porque sí me las hacían, o sea, tenían mejores hábitos de estudio.
Also, an important point is that the students have a library, audiovisual room, an English lab with internet, and a music and dance room, which help to awaken the interest and new learning skills of the students.
The adolescence is that stage where we all lack identify and we tend to develop different tastes and ways of seeing life, but more specifically at this stage is where we tend to be more strange in ways and ways of being. In these observation days we were able to appreciate the behavior of the adolescents inside and outside the institution. If it was notorious that all the adolescents went through that stage, since it was very clear with their attitudes and some answers and their surveys.
Continuing with the development of the students' knowledge, we wanted to know what level the students are at the moment in the subject of English. So we asked a variety of questions. You can say a short diagnostic test, which was based on level 8-2, which they should at least know from the school's program. We did the test on first grade, second grade, and third grade to be able to see how they start and how they will process or develop their skills. The first question we asked, at what age did you start taking English classes? Which most of the answer was they first started learning English in the first year of middle school. It is common for most of the students to learn at this age because they start seeing the subject in middle school where the school board states that it is necessary to start learning English. The next question was, are you able to understand, use, and communicate in the English language? The answer was no. They don't know how to use or communicate in English. In this situation, the English teacher could modify or change the techniques that they are using in the class to see some kind of changes in the results. The next question was, do you understand the motive of learning English? They do understand the motive, which is great. The motive is so they can have another language besides Spanish. With a second language, there are more doors they can open in their future. For their jobs, it's an advantage, and for their traveling, is a bonus.
Students show interest in the culture of our country and other countries, especially the customs and traditions that are celebrated year after year in Mexico. They also show interest in other cultures, travel around the world. Students would also like to study, work, and live in other countries. Although much prefer to live in Mexico, and would even like to learn English as a second language. And thanks to the interest that the students have in learning a second language, they like the English classes that the school provides them with trained teachers.
The first graders is at the level they should be, in which is perfect because with time they will be able to upgrade their level during the 3 years of middle school with the help of their teachers and the program they are assigned. Second graders are a different story. In general of the results, they could only do a little more than half of the test, which indicates us they are not the level they should be at. Finally, third graders, we could see by the results they are having some difficulty with answering the test. In conclusion, we can say the students are having some difficulty with the subject of English, where the teachers can help them out by changing the techniques on the way they're teaching, or they can ask the students on how they can learn better, what they prefer, and what they are having difficulty in.
Through the arduous process of observation through the 3 days of practice, adding the knowledge acquired prior to this, a greater knowledge was obtained about the school context and everyone who lives in it and with it, knowing that not only the internal factors affect the dynamics that takes place within an institution, but also the external variables intervening in the school campus. For example, the school environment and the economic and security conditions, knowing that they condition the way in which work is carried out within it. This fundamental process to have more accurate perspective of educational dynamics will be explored by means of tools that were made now to us within, such as observation guides, surveys, interviews, observation diaries, among other instruments that facilitated the observation day. As for the final work, this documentary, of great utility to capture the results and evidence that we collect during this period. It was created through the development of a script derived from the sharing in order to be able to appreciate the school panorama. This work has helped us to have feedback and also follow up on objectives and purpose set at the beginning, which was to observe and learn about the educational context. In addition, new tools were learned or used by some one of us, such as Google Forms, a digital platform for surveys, which allows us to record the answers of the students on this occasion. It will benefit us in the future in some work activity. Finally, what we got from this work is the short but significant experience that was obtained during this time, with the visits to the institution, with the data collection, with the knowledge of everything that being an education professional implies, beyond just the classes, but all that small element that affects what matters in educational institution, which is effective and correct learning, and with the making of this short informative documentary.